49ers are obviously huge favorites. They've been one of the best teams in the league for a few years now. I think the real starting point here for Green Bay is Brock Purdy. Is he as great as the number suggests that he is, or is he great because he's got McCaffrey, he's got Samuel, he's got Ayuk, he's got Kittle, he's got this whole all-star team around him? What do you see there?
It's hard to say he's as great as his numbers suggest he is, because his numbers suggest he's the best quarterback in the league. He leads the league in so many categories. And I don't believe he's the best quarterback in the league. I don't think he believes he's the best quarterback in the league. He's excellent. He's very good. You could argue he's top 10. I don't think he's top 5, but he does certain things at an elite level. He sees the field at an elite level. Like, he'll get to the fourth guy in his progression quickly. A lot of times after games, you'll hear receivers be like, I was jogging through my route. I was the fourth option. I never get the ball on this play. And it came to me and it was a touchdown. Never heard that stuff with Jimmy Garoppolo. So that's a skill. He's also very difficult to sack. You have to think of him as a mobile quarterback, and you actually want to keep him in the pocket. You don't want to let him get outside, because when he does get outside the pocket, he can scramble. He can make big plays. He's a really good quarterback. And obviously the scheme and the supporting cast and the defense put him in advantageous positions and get the absolute best out of him. And a lot of other quarterbacks will look good on this team too. One thing about Brock Purdy that's interesting is he's a little bit of a Napoleonic complex. No offense, Brock, but he doesn't want to be seen as a game manager. Everyone knows he has the weakest arm of the starting quarterbacks in the league, and he works around it really, really well. But people label him a game manager, and he thinks of himself as a gunslinger. And that mentality has gotten him into trouble a little bit. He's taking risks he doesn't need to take on this team. He's thrown 10 picks in the last 10 games, still has great numbers. But when the Niners lose, it's typically when he throws a pick. They're undefeated when he doesn't throw a pick. So he needs to sort of channel his inner game manager in the playoffs.
Okay. The running offense, Grant, is really good. If you look at the numbers now, I'm interested. Christian McCaffrey at midseason kind of hit a lull there with like 4 or 5 games where his numbers weren't Christian McCaffrey. Like the last half of the season, he's been Christian McCaffrey that everybody knows and loves. What's gone right the second half of the year? Because obviously Green Bay's run defense, not good.
Sure. First half of the year, the Niners gave him like 24, 25 carries a game. I think they were intent on getting him that Offensive Player of the Year award, or maybe the MVP, or actually maybe just Christian McCaffrey refused to come off the field. He's very forceful, and certain players in the Niners started to get to call their shots. Then he got worn down a little bit. He didn't make it through week 6 against the Browns. And the Niners got beat up as a team in that game. Deebo Samuel got hurt. Trent Williams got hurt, missed a few games. And without Trent Williams on the field, the Niners really don't do anything well, despite all that talent on offense. Without that left tackle, there's nowhere they can really get movement at the point of attack in the run game, and they don't have their blindside protector. So they lost Trent Williams, and even a great running back like Christian McCaffrey suffered big time because of it. Plus, he was a little bit injured. They had a bye week. Trent Williams came back. McCaffrey's a little bit more rested, and he's great again. So, yeah, he's a big problem for Green Bay this weekend.
Okay. The pass defense, Gramsci, Jordan Love is on a roll. You look at San Francisco's pass defense, the pass rush and everything else, one of the best in the league. What makes that group so good?
Well, a couple things. They're, like a lot of defenses, they want to rush for and play zone coverage. It's very tough to beat that. And their pass rush is phenomenal. Right. Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, Chase Young. It's really, really good. It's tough to stand in one spot and beat this team. Also, a lot of teams, especially running this Shanahan, LaFleur, whatever you want to call it, scheme, McVay, they want to attack over the middle. Those play action passes in that void over the middle. Well, the Niners have Fred Warner. It's really not where you want to throw the ball against the Niners defense. He's the best zone defender in the middle of the field, not playing safety, that linebacker position in the league I've ever seen. It's just a really bad idea to test him. So they force you to throw underneath, toward the sidelines, deep. And really the only way to beat the Niners is to get outside the pocket. If you try to beat them from inside the pocket, you're going to lose. You got to take the scramble lanes that they give you, because they'll give them to you all day, and that's Nick Bosa too. And you don't have to scramble. You just have to get outside the pocket and make throws. That's what Lamar Jackson did. That zone defense breaks down as soon as the quarterback vacates, and they'll give you those escape lanes. So don't try to be Peyton Manning against the Niners. You'll lose.
Okay. You mentioned play action, so that's a great lead into. Through 15 games, the Packers had 0 games of 100-yard rushing games by an individual. Aaron Jones has 4 in a row since he came back from a knee injury. He was phenomenal against Dallas. He owns Dallas. He does not own San Francisco. Talk about that front seven and how they stop the run.
They were much better against the run the past few seasons when they had D'Amico Ryans and Robert Saleh as the defensive coordinator. Now they have Steve Wilkes, who has a much different philosophy. He likes to play two deep safeties. He's much more concerned about not giving up explosive plays down the field, passes. He doesn't really concern himself much with the run defense. It's okay. They don't play a lot of heavy boxes. They don't set the edges very well. Their best edge setter is Cleveland Farrell. He's hurt. So you can scramble on this team. You can get to the perimeter on this team. The Niners' best run defense all season has been their offense, just taking leads and putting teams in position where they're one-dimensional and they have to catch up. So if the Packers can keep it close, Aaron Jones is going to be just as big of a factor in this game as Christian McCaffrey.
Interesting. Okay. So maybe you just answered this one, Grant, but take away the turnovers as the obvious cliche here thing. How on earth do the Packers win this game? I mean, what is the kryptonite, so to speak, of a San Francisco team that looks all around solid?
Yeah, you got to get Jordan Love on the move. Don't keep him in one spot. And that the Packers do such a good job of that. Design bootlegs, and he has to take the scramble lanes when you give it to him. Don't be – sometimes young quarterbacks want to prove they're pocket passers. Not against the Niners. Don't do that. You don't want to be Geno Smith. You want to be Russell Wilson against the 49ers, if that makes sense. I saw Aaron Rodgers do it a lot, too. He lost to the Niners a lot, man. Run. Get out of that pocket. Nick Bosa is going to sack you. That's part of it. But then really, if you look at the Niners this season, every game except one that they won by double digits. They take a lead early. They score on their first drive, and they put you in this position where you're catching up. You're one-dimensional. When they've lost, they've fallen behind. When they've lost, they've been in close games. It's a dominant team, but when they're in close games, they've lost because their head coach has some strange tendencies under pressure, and their quarterback is quite young too, and he seems to press a little bit when things aren't going according to plan. So if the Packers can just keep the game close, that's not really a position the Niners are comfortable in or have been in that much this season. Keep it close in the fourth quarter, and good things might happen.
All right. Very good, Grant. Thanks a lot for the preview.